Hello guys, welcome to Africa Gossip Arena. So guys, due to the recent critics about the Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo over the mistake he made when presenting the 2025 bill to the House of Assembly in Edo State that have actually caused a lot of reactions and criticism about his level of education due to the fact that the recent mistake he has made when presenting the bill. And although a lot of people have also come out to say that the governor is not educated, the governor needs to be impeached, the governor is not qualified to run in the office of a governor in Edo State, and Edo people are always brilliant and smart people. How much more Edo people are now producing a dull governor, an uneducated governor. But to the look of things in my own way, nobody is above mistake. And this is the first bill this governor is actually presenting to the House of Assembly in Edo State. Who know? Probably might be you, might be me. Anybody can make mistakes. And don't forget, to face a large crowd is not that easy, even though you are a governor or not. So I believe that we should give him a chance and he's going to do better. Although Adams Apc, the past governor of Edo State, and also the APC chairman of Edo State, Chief Alhaji Jalet Itenebe, have also come out to speak about people who are actually telling him to resign as a governor because of the mistake he made when presenting the bill to the House of Assembly, in which Adams Apc said 8 years is 8 years, and nobody can ask him to leave the office or impeach him as a governor over making a mere mistake. And Jalet Itenebe, the APC chairman of Edo State, also said the governor made this mistake because he is not corrupt and he has never stolen any public fund before. And although people's reactions about this governor mistake right now have actually sparked a lot of reaction and criticism on social media. Anyway, let me leave you to watch this video to the end to see Adams Oshomori reaction, Jalet Itelebe reactions, and other patriotic Nigerians reactions. So feel free to drop your opinion on the comment section when you are done watching. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel because subscription is free. So if this is your first time of seeing this channel, please kindly hit on the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on your notification bell for you to be able to see more of our videos anytime we post a new video. So guys, this is what actually happened.
Social media has been agog with the governor, our governor, budget presentation about mistake on 650 billion and the rest of it all. It's a normal thing. Zuma made such mistakes, and a lot of people make such mistakes. I don't know figures. You see, that is how to know original and innocent people. Obaseki will not make such mistakes because he has stolen billions before. Aswa Ighodalo will not make such mistakes because he has stolen billions before. Monday is not a thief, so he's not familiar with figures. So anybody who wants to talk and continue to talk is nonsense. He's the governor of the state, and he's the governor of the state. He's performing, and he'll continue to perform. And anybody who does not like his face should go to hell and burn to ashes. Period. And thank you.
Like everyone has said, I'm sure we all can say one thing about Distinguished Senator Monday. I have never met a man as humble as Distinguished Senator Monday. His humility is infectious. And yet, even as we say he's a man of few words, he made for that through action and sustained action in a manner that is clear and discernible. Mr. President said, we in Edo State, we are so happy. I can go home now without fear. And in 1 month, exactly 1 month, he was sworn in on the 12th of November, and today is 11th of December, exactly 29 days or 30 days. He has gone in history as one of the first governors who ordered 1 week, started making appointments of men and women who will help to shape the economy and the social life of Edo State. He has already taken bold steps to restore respect to the traditional institutions in Edo State. He has already started doing those things that will affect the infrastructural development of our great state that have been abandoned for many, many years. And All those he has appointed are people that some of us already know, like the Attorney General who is seated by him. A man who made his mark, that a former governor here, who was also a member of the House at that time, as a minority whip, who could whip even majority to order in his days as a minority whip under the ACN. So I want to thank you, sir, Mr. President, for the leadership you provided, not only while he was here, but also for all the support that this Senate, under your leadership, provided, morally and otherwise, to support, encourage, and do everything that you could do other than coming to vote, which you are not privileged so to do because you are not registered in Edo State. But you relocated to Edo to give us solidarity where we needed it most and reassure us that we were not alone. On behalf of the great people of Edo State, who are very happy that we have a new sheriff in town, a progressive sheriff for that matter, I want to thank you for your leadership, for your care, for the support, for all the senators you mobilized. Even when the former governor wanted to come and raid the INEC and change figures, some of our senators here became boxers to protect the votes of Edo State. I won't mention Asuko, for example. I don't need to. Just to say that I'm so excited that he's back here to tell us goodbye. But maybe it's only bye for now, because who knows? As people like Lalong have done, like people like Ojikalu and His Excellency, the Okomo Senator. Who knows? He might be coming back here after 8 years to come and complete his senatorial obligations. And I'm sure by then he will be richer in wisdom, in experience, and exposure. And he may just find this place the kind of place he should end his political career. Thank you so much for this privilege.
Distinguished Senator Oshumole, before you stop, I thought it was from your senatorial district.
No, sir.
Okay.
He's from Edo Central.
Okay, otherwise he may retire you when he comes back.
Sir, by the time he's coming back, I would have already retired.
Okay. So conclude.
Because if you add 8 years to the current figure, I do not intend to do well. I do not intend to do 3 times here.
Okay.
So anyway, on a serious note, we are happy that in 30 days, Edo people are aware that there is a new governor in town, humble, resourceful, committed, intelligent, few words, but maximum action.
Yeah. I went to College of Education in my life. I've never been to university. College of Education, I can read any number till the end. I know if you put it in dollar, I'll read it in naira.
Wow.
If they put that money in dollar, this Okpebholo cannot read it in naira. We are finished. Don't people go and sleep. Go and use candle because the world is ending in your point. Those people, I pity for them because first, he has promised you insecurity. Secondly, he cannot. I wish I was a financial secretary to that man's office. They would have locked that man because of money that is missing. I will pack everything, and write an unending numbers that he can never pronounce this generation.
I need to ask you, why do you conceive evil every opportunity you get? It does quite appear.
Because I have been set upon and I must revenge before my life will go down.
Wow, you sound desperate.
Yes, that is my philosophy. There is one thing they call 1-1 goalless draw. I can never ever accept failure. If you do me, I do you. That is my philosophy.
Yeah, but you see, you're not only doing it to one.
I'm not giving any position in this country.
Yeah, but
if you give me common pack chairman, I will collect everything, even anything that passed my way. Instead of Okpebholo, he has nothing to offer to Edopu.
Yeah, but the tragedy of that.
Anyone supporting him, I pity for that person supporting him.
They say a leader is a reader. In as much as he doesn't possess that quality to portray himself as a leader, that means he has not been reading and he is not qualified to be a governor.
All right. Ooh, okay.
The one who was defending him said that anybody who says otherwise should born to. That is also the character of people who call themselves our leaders. It's quite embarrassing and it is unfortunate we see ourselves where we see ourselves because it is rotting from the head.
I must confess to you that this is not a reflection of the people of Edo State. We are known for academic prowess, but the godfathers, the principalities and powers that are governing us would rather put forward mediocre who they can manipulate to their advantage. One after the other, they will be put to shame.
Look into my eyes. In fact, okay, I think you are Igbo. Name Maya and tell me that even I beg to differ. 15 years old teenagers would know how to call numbers. If you don't know the difference between thousands, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, tens of billions, then you have no business being part of a government. Look, or even heading a state.
Edo State governor does not know figures. He can be excused. He probably is not a man of figures. It's not a big deal. It does not in any way impugn on his capacity or capability to govern. Well, if a final year student was defending a project before his supervisor and made this gaffe that governor made, the gaffe the governor made in that budget, he will not graduate. Unfortunately and shamelessly, some people with twisted minds from my beloved Esson land are saying we should forget waiting then right for moto and enter the moto. My question is, if what's written on the car is a journey to hell or a ride to Golgotha, would you enter such a moto? To even think that Edo State is an educationally upward state makes it even more bizarre. Joyce, I'm highly disappointed in most callers and Nigerians on what they're saying concerning the governor. Being eloquent, sensible, clever, literate. Moses in the Bible said, I'm not good in talking, but he was chosen to lead the most stubborn and wicked as we Nigerians. But we are, or must we be sentimental in everything and bring politics into everything we do?
I want to look at the budget presentation by the Edo State governor, dyslexia, dyscalculia, and a dysfunctional nation. I was invited by a group of politicians in Edo State to give a lecture on good government and sound education just before the elections. I usually consult widely before I attend some programs, even before I do some of these videos. I'll consult my lawyer, I'll consult my team in Europe, my team in Nigeria, and I meditate a lot and pray and research before I do these lectures or before I go to some places. I consulted widely in Edo State before I went to speak, because I noticed that those who were inviting me, even though they claimed to be obedient, they were leaning towards Aswe Igodalo. And I told them, for my reputation, if we want to provide a level playing field for all the candidates, Aswe Igodalo will speak, Upewolo will speak, and was the senior advocate will also speak. If one of them is going to speak, then none of them should speak. I should be the only one that will speak. And I charge them, because they are not a church, I charge them a large sum of money for the 30 minutes I was going to speak. And I told them they will send an SUV with security to come and pick me to Edo State from Ogili. And they agreed. A day to the program, they sent me the flyer, e-flyer. And after a while, I saw another flyer with the face of Aswe Igodalo in it. and I told them they should pull it down immediately or I will refund their money to them. Because if the others are not going to speak, none should speak. And they appealed to me and pulled it down. One of the things those of you who are educated in this country must learn to do, which I respect him, PLO Lumumba from Kenya, is that don't respect these politicians and all these people, neo-colonialists, because of their money and their positions. Let them respect your intellect and your person. It is only in that way that you create value. If I tell you how much they paid, it will shock you. And so, I went there and told them some basic facts about Edo State. When the Portuguese, yes, came to Benin, because some of the words we speak in Urhobo language are Portuguese language. Sabato is the same thing as shoe in Portuguese. Nanaj is pineapple, and we call it nanaja. And there are many other words that are from Portuguese. I think it's the Portuguese explorers or whoever that came to Benin then, when they went home, they said that Benin City is like Amsterdam. All the streets radiated towards the palace, well mapped out streets, and then there were circular roads, and then Benin had street lights. Before the advent of the British into Nigeria, they had street lights. The street lights were made from oil, clay pots with palm oil and a thread. So the streets were lit. And the Beninese and Edo people are a very proud people. And they hate injustice, they hate mediocrity, they hate to be taken for granted. So that you will not think I'm committing a fallacy of hasty generalization. Pa Imodu from Edo State. Peter Enahoro from Edo State. Peter Pan, he attended the same school with me, my senior. Anthony Enahoro that moved motion for the independence of Nigeria at the age of 27 from Edo State. Adams Apc, the labor union leader, senator, one-time governor. If Adams is talking in the Senate, you listen. He has power in his words. But we will not ignore other things. Adams Apc, Aisha Yesufu from Edo State, very dark man from Edo State. Peter Esele from Edo State. Eyari from Edo State. Osayemore that sang and then he was arrested, came back and sang another one from Edo State. Osifo, current leader of TUC also from Edo State. I've counted 10 people in my fingers that are from Edo State that stand for excellence. The Edo man can never be intimidated. That was how it was until very recently. Now, there is a law called Peter's Law. Peter's Law states that one of the laws, Peter has 3 laws. One of Peter's laws states that if you keep promoting a man, a time comes when you promote him into incompetence. Somebody can do well as a governor, become a president, he might mess up. Somebody can do well as a House of Rep member, you make him a governor, he might mess up. Somebody can do up as a councillor, promote him to become a senator, he will fumble because leadership is not only functionality, but it is the provision of a model, methods, mode of operation, and momentum, How many M's have I said? Now, for you to be a good leader, it is not the occupation of office. It is not the winning of elections. Most Nigerians in this dispensation and the political parties, they just see the country as their farmland and rotational ownership or rotation bush fallow that we studied in agriculture in those days. They just rotate. They rotate it between themselves. No wonder the land is desolate. The land has to be cultivated, fertilized, maintained, and protected. Then it will be fruitful. And so, they see Nigeria as their farmland. For you to be a capable leader, you must have number one, the capacity to lead. Capacity. How much can you do? You must have the competence. Another C. How much can you do well? You must have the character. How will you handle stress, people, circumstances, antagonism? Character. You must have the courage. You must have the courage. And then you must have the charisma. How many C's? You can list them. So it is this that makes you attractive to the people, and the people are willing to follow you. Okay. Some people, the Igbos have a saying that the food that will satisfy you, that you will gauge it by your eye. And they have a saying, that the eyes eat before the mouth. And so, I was observing the campaigns in Edo State prior to my going to speak to them. And I noticed that Baba was always standing by the present governor. And if he's saying something that is incoherent, it will prompt him. He was the teleprompter. And then the day that finished the whole thing was when he said, I will give you insecurity. And I saw Baba, what's it? But they passed, and he won in quotes. It is our turn in Edo State. The Edo State Emilokon. And I was becoming more suspicious when the chairman of his party was defending his inability to come to debates on television or address people on television. And he was saying that the Edo State people have been so impoverished by the previous administration or the present administration then that they don't have data to watch the debate or discussion online, and that maybe there was no electricity. He gave one flimsy excuse. And I was wondering, so he won. It was his turn to present the budget. Listen and listen well. I'm going to speak to my students now. I usually tell them, study to show yourself approved. A workman that needs not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. That is to say, study, learn, educate yourself, empower yourself so that you can do things rightly. Number 2, we have a slogan in my school. When I say valuable, they will say, as knowledge is, the power to acquire it independently is more valuable. It was my teacher in Form 3, Mr. Bamuza, wonderful Ijaw gentleman, that said that statement, and I caught it. Valuable as knowledge is, the power to acquire it independently is more valuable. It is not the certification that people parade. Somebody showed me the result of the present governor of Edo State, his school certificate result. It was nothing to write home about. And so there's been this foundational defect in his education, in his approach to learning. You see, if you don't amaze people, you will amuse people. Jesus Christ, at the age of 12, went to the Sanhedrin, and when he spoke, the people were amazed. It did not start that day. He started developing himself before that day. Remember, the Holy Spirit had not come upon him in public glare to say, "This is my beloved son," even though he was anointing John the Baptist antenatally. From the mother's womb, he anointed John the Baptist. Now, Jesus amazed them with the content of his knowledge and his performance. You see, before the government can rest upon his shoulders, the Bible says, "and the government shall rest upon his shoulders." Before the government could rest upon the shoulders of Jesus, he was intentional, purposeful in approaching his purpose in life. And that was why he grew in stature, wisdom, and obtained favor from God and man. People are saying that Okpebholo is suffering from dyslexia. Dyslexia is a learning defect in children that makes them find it difficult to read. Somebody with dyslexia can see WAS, which is was, and then say and pronounce it as SAW, SAW, mixes letters. But that defect is correctable. There are treatments for it. So if Okpebholo had dyslexia, before he became a senator, he should have taken intentional steps to improve on his ability to read and to pronounce. How? So he stayed in the Senate without presenting any bill? Is that what you're telling me? If it is that Okpebholo suffers from dyslexia, and he was in the Senate, and he was brought to contest as governor because it is their turn, then some people feel that we can eat SHIT in this country in the name of politics. Edo State that I enumerated the degree of excellence, royalty, and the desire for functionality. Remember Ogbemundia, that we can just take anything. Once we put party, we put tribe, we put regionalism, and then we put our local philosophy. We can present our fourth 11. Now, there's one word called dyscalculia. Dyscalculia is different from dyslexia. Dyscalculia is the inability to articulate figures and you have to count in your fingers simple things like 5 plus 5. Dyscalculia. It can be solved. It's treatable. Google whatever I'm saying, dyslexia and dyscalculia. And by repetition, you will learn to master stuff. I don't have a good memory. Before I did this video now, I went to the internet, Googled, I read it, I went through it again and again and again because I have a memory. I'm not smart. But people think I'm smart because I have learned how to acquire knowledge independently. And I practice. When I was running a 40-bed hospital, I was to inherit running a 40-bed hospital at a very young age, 27 or 28. No, 27. The Indian doctor that I was to take over from
was very good in surgery. And one of the things I didn't know well was intestinal anastomosis. So I would sit down and I would stay in the theater, observe him doing intestinal anastomosis. I knew the intestinal clamps that he would use, the one to crush, the non-crush. I knew the sutures to use, the size of needle. And I went home and I took my stockings that were as soft as intestines and practiced it at home. And I perfected it. The next time they brought somebody with a strangulated hernia, that is, the intestine was gangrenous, I was able to resect that portion of intestine out, anastomose it again, made sure it was patent, and in 3 days' time, the man passed gas. And in 10 days, he was out of hospital. I practice. So if these politicians do not take us for granted, the governor of Edo State should have taken that budget, read through it again and again. Americans, when they want to debate, they go through their debates, they practice in front of people, they come to the hall where they are going to debate and familiarize themselves with it. Even nuclear war attack or anything, chemical war attack, they practice the scenarios. The Jewish army, they practice. The FBI, they practice. Even if you have dyslexia and you have dyscalculia, you should have practiced it. If I'm going to give a speech, I'll say it, I'll ask my wife for her ideas, I'll ask my lawyer, then I will repeat it over and over in the presence of my personal assistant. And then when they say the thing has gelled, then before I write it down, and I meditate it over a long period of time. And so if Okpewolo did not take the people of Edo State for granted, and his office for granted, and Nigerians for granted that we can take all kinds of rubbish, he should have sat down and gone through the pronunciations of those numbers, repeated them. I was 56 when I went to do masters in public admin. And at about the age of 58, just before we graduated, there was the formula for the derivation of GNP or GDP. And I didn't know it. So I practiced it, and then called my maths teacher, who now has a PhD, my Raymond Orogugbe, and I sat as a student, and he was teaching me the derivation. And so I went to preach in a church. I derived it throughout the night. I got to the hall, derived it again, and then the thing came in the exam, derived it, and I had an A. I think I had 85% or 75%. I had an A. I was very busy. So the governor should have sat down and read those figures over and over again before his personal assistant or press secretary, before just rushing to the House of Assembly to disgrace himself. He was a pathetic sight. We should not make mockery of him. We should feel sorry for him and those who packaged him to the public arena and allowed him to be put under pressure, and because the carton was attractive but the contents were defective, he collapsed under pressure. I felt very sad, very sorry when he said, "These figures are confusing me." If the figures of your budget are confusing you, I know there is a budget monitoring office. If you can't pronounce what you want to expend, how can you monitor theft in the system? That display is a pure manifestation of the dysfunctionality of Nigeria. But it also vindicates those of us who say that education is not a scam. Education is not the school you attended. I mean, the degrees you carry. It is the grooming that goes through you as you school. I attended government college, Ugeli, federal government college, or University of Ibadan. They took me through the meal. Then they mixed me with dough and baked me. My friend was to go for surgery was attending a clinic in the United Kingdom. And his doctor was giving him a diagnosis and a prognosis that was contrary to what I know. And I told him, this prognosis, this experienced doctor in the UK is giving to you would lead to your death prematurely. Go there and do the surgery. Don't listen to him. That was how Nigerian doctors made a diagnosis concerning Dora Akunyili. And she went overseas and they made a contrary diagnosis. And she took it for granted. And the thing metastasized and expanded and grew worse. And our dear lady died. My friend went to the UK. They did the surgery. When they brought the mass out, it was more cancerous than the doctor there had assumed. And he had to apologize. So when you have sound education, it is not the certification, it is the process. And some of these boys don't go through the process. I have lectured in a Bible school where people were doing exam malpractice. Deacons and deaconesses do exam malpractice. They want to preach without proper foundation. A lot of these certifications, I'm not implying that the governor did that. You can just get them. After all, people get degrees from Cotonou and Republic of Benin, and they become whatever. So it's not the certification people fill in INEC forms. People should be put through the rigor of debate. And when you prop a building, only a drop of water and a little wind can collapse it. I felt very sorry for the governor of Edo State because he's entering a state, a governance, where the spectators are great critics and radicals. And he's entering a place that the pressure on him will be so much. I wonder how he will be able to cope, manage the crookedness. Yesterday, I want to commend him for this. I was watching on social media cars that were stolen or misappropriated or colored by the previous administration. Allocated to people. Prado Jeeps, SUVs, Hilux trucks, brand new Hilux trucks in people's homes. And they went to collect them. Now, performance is not grammar related. And so I want to encourage the governor of Edo State. If your grammar and your pronunciation and dyslexia and dyscalculia are your problems, surround yourself with sincere people and be willing to take counsel and consult with your spirit man. Be prayerful and make sure you work hard to bring good governance to the people of Edo State. You might not be able to pronounce the figures in the budget, but execute the budget well. Make good roads in Benin like Asobemoudia did. There are some of the villages from your own part of some towns in your own part of the state, they don't have good roads. Water is a problem in the side you come from. Provide water. provide electricity, provide healthcare, provide good roads. We won't care when you give us good, give them good healthcare, whether you know how to pronounce billions or trillions, whether there's dyslexia or dyscalculia. Nigeria is dysfunctional. Edo State is dysfunctional. But whether with dyslexia or dyscalculia, bring some level of sanity to the dysfunctionality in Edo State. And you will leave a legacy that will endure and people will celebrate you. But constantly improve on yourself. Constantly, let this be a reason for you to get a private teacher, get somebody. There was a king of England at one time that had a problem with speech. Somebody from Australia was brought to teach him how to speak, and he did well. Prime Minister or king, I suspect a king. Opewolo, it is not yet over. There is hope for you. There are opportunities for you. You have the infrastructure, you have the technology, you have the people around you. Polish yourself. Polish yourself before you publish yourself. If not, the public will punish you with mockery. I remain Dr. Charles Apc, the area grandfather. These people, the people are, where will I can be his father. So I can counsel him. And for those of you listening to me, it is important that you prepare. Good preparation, good platform, good performance gives good publicity. How many P's? Now so will they run on for you?
The Edo State Governor called Opebelo was presenting the 2025 national the Edo State budget at the Edo State House of Assembly complex right there in Benin City. And what happened, guys? The guy was struggling pronouncing the figures. But at the end of the day, what happened? The APC faithful and their followers, the chairman of the Edo State APC, came out to say that the reason why the governor was unable to pronounce the figure it was because the governor has never stolen before, and the governor is not used to stealing public funds, and that was the reason why he was making such mistakes or such mistakes were emanating from him. So I want to ask the Edo State chairman, are you saying that the governor is not good enough to pronounce figures? Who prepared that Edo State budget? It's so alarming what is happening, that somebody will make mistakes instead of you to hold that person accountable for his actions. You are here defending the person that it was because the person is not used to stealing public funds, and that's why he was making such. So are you trying to say that he has never seen such figures before in his life? Let me ask the Edo State APC chairman, because you came out and said that the reason why the Edo State governor was making such errors and all that in that budget presentation at the State House of Assembly in Benin, it was because the governor is not used to stealing public funds and all that. So he was surprised with the figure he saw, and that was why he was having difficulties in pronouncing the figure. Says who, guy? This is totally unacceptable. Please, do you agree with what the Edo State governor had just said? Do you agree with what the Edo State APC chairman just said, that the reason why the APC governor was unable, that the person of Monday was unable to pronounce this figure, was as a result of not being acquainted with corrupt practices and not stealing public funds? Do you agree with what the guy just said? Please drop your comment at the comment section, and don't forget to follow my page, and also don't forget to share this video. Thank you, and God bless you.